So Jason Voorhees has been shot, stabbed, burned, blown up, drowned, and everything else under the sun, but he won't stay dead. He keeps coming back, but the question is, why? Why won't he die? And what is the origin of his powers? That's what we're going to discuss today. Welcome to Fantasy Films. If you're new here, I'm Kevin, and we got to talk about Jason Voorhees today. This topic came up because of another video I made of why Michael Myers won't die. And I will post a card somewhere up top linking that video if you want to check that one out. And I will also put a link down in the description below. But this topic was actually suggested by one of you in that video's comments. So thank you so much for that. This is one that I am very curious about myself. Even as a Jason Voorhees fan, it's kind of really hard to follow his powers, what he actually is, why he won't die. So in order to understand all this, you need to really go back to the beginning and understand this sequence of the movies and the lack of connection. And I'm going to emphasize lack of connection because honestly, these movies were never really planned out. The very first Friday the 13th, where Jason's mother was the killer, was never really meant to have a sequel. They didn't plan on a second one, but the fans loved it so much that they wanted an actual killer. They wanted another villain, so they brought her son back in the second film, creating the sequel. Now, from there on, the third was never planned. That was also one done strictly on fan reaction and demand for another movie. So none of these movies really were thought out. They all had many different screenwriters, many different directors, many different producers. So therefore, nothing was really linked and nothing was really explained. At least not until director Adam Marcus was given a chance to make Jason Goes to Hell the final Friday. That's where everything came together. That's where we started to get an origin and understanding of what Jason is and where he came from. Now, Jason Goes to Hell the Final Friday was actually meant to be the absolute last in the franchise. So with that being said, Adam Marcus wanted to create a mythology and a understanding of what Jason is and bring it to an end. It was also set to be a setup for Jason versus Freddy, which is also why you saw Freddy's hand come up and take his mask at the end. But that's a topic for another day. So Jason's ability to shrug off any attack or blow and his immortality make him a very threatening person. And it seems like the more he kills, the more powerful he gets. The question is, why? So Marcus went over to Sam Raimi, who was working on the Evil Dead franchise, and borrowed a couple artifacts. Now, in Jason Goes to Hell, you will notice when they return to Camp Crystal Lake that they find a disheveled book and a dagger. Now, that book and dagger, very specifically, are the Necronomicon Ex Mortis and the Kandarian dagger from the Evil Dead 2. Now, when Marcus told Sam Raimi what he planned to do with it, Sam Raimi got very excited about the idea and was totally on board. Marcus set up a storyline and mythology where Jason Voorhees' mother in the very first movie had gotten her hands on the Necronomicon and read from it, releasing the demon to which resurrect her dead son. Now, this demon isn't necessarily Jason himself, but just a demon possessing Jason's body. But his soul is still trapped in this parasitic creature that we know from the film being a hell baby. Now, not only is his soul trapped there, but the souls of everyone he's killed. But the problem is, with Jason Voorhees' body being destroyed by the FBI, this creature now has to find a new host and home to live in. The problem is, it has to be of Jason's bloodline, which is why every time he possesses a new body, it doesn't last long and it kills the host until it finally finds the remains of Jason Voorhees himself, resurrecting him. Now, the Kandarian dagger also comes into play because that is the only thing that can kill Jason. The dagger and the book are linked, and obviously if you've seen the movie, you know the whole story. Someone from his bloodline has to stab him with the dagger and go through this process in which the demon will then be drugged back down to hell. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean the demon is dead. It just means he's now in hell, which is how he meets Freddy Krueger. That was the whole setup, which then allowed him to return in other films all the way up to the point where he's now in space. There are 12 films in the franchise total. But once we get to that point of Jason being in space, it is discussed that Jason has incredible regeneration powers. Now, it kind of veered away from the fact that they gave him a demonic origin once we got farther up the line. Now, I think that's still presumed, but they never really talked about the Necronomicon again. They never talked about his demonic possession. So I think at the final Friday, Jason Goes to Hell, Marcus wanted to end the franchise, and it ended on a note that I think we could have all wrapped our heads around. Fans just ate that up, and they wanted more. So we got more screenwriting, more story, none of which really links together, though. Now, it was questioned on why Marcus didn't elaborate more on the link between Jason Voorhees, the Necronomicon Ex Mortis, and the Evil Dead franchise. And the simple reason for that is that the movie was produced by New Line Cinema, who did not have any rights to the Evil Dead franchise. So Marcus was unable to elaborate and bring that into the film and explain more and really link Jason Voorhees with the Necronomicon Ex Mortis and the Kandarian Dagger. So that's it. Jason's actually a demon resurrected from the Necronomicon, read by his mom, who was killed in the very first one. At least that's what we're trying to lead up to. Now, I want to know what your thoughts are on this origin and the explanation of his powers if you didn't already know about it. If you did already know about it, hey, props to you, because I'll be honest, it took me a while to research all this and figure it out myself. If I missed any details, please fill me in the comments below. I think I covered it all, but you know what? It's such a big story and explanation to cover. It is possible I might have missed something. But anyway, I want to know if you would think of the content. Make sure you drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it, and also hit that subscribe button on your way out. I'm Kevin, and I'll see you at the concession stands.